I'll
grab.
pause it. I'll pause it. I'll
It's really
pause
the
it.
reason.
All right. Malpractice aside, let's let's get into it.
Stay away from that.
So you know, we decided to hop on this call, talk a little about the Super Bowl, give our previews and picks.
Super Bowl
Uh,
59.
yeah, Super Bowl LIX, LIX,
Licks.
LIX.
Let's get licks.
Speaking of licks, Tristan's probably going to take one if he doesn't show up for this. So I don't know.
I think the
He's
Chiefs are about to
actually
take a lick.
he's actually our on the field correspondent right now. He's in NOLA. He's mingling with the athletes. So you know it's going to be up to us to hold the fort down. But hey, not everyone gets to go on vacation. Some people's got to row the boats.
Listen, if he comes back, like jumps on this call, has a bunch of cool stories from a club, and that's why he's late, fine. Fine. We could deal with that.
Right. I'm not going to get too hopeful.
He was in bed at 9:30 and is just walking on the Stairmaster at the moment and missed the call.
Exactly, exactly. Oh, he's definitely on the Stairmaster for sure. All that gumbo in his system, he's got to be on it.
You ever have gumbo?
So, you ever been to New Orleans? Yeah, it's one of your
Yeah.
favorite places.
My stepmom's from New Orleans. My dad got married in New Orleans.
Oh, congratulations.
So I've actually had a lot of experiences in New Orleans.
So you've been, Tristan's been, I have not.
You have not. Interesting.
I have not.
You'd love it.
Yeah.
That's a very you place, in fact. You'd really thrive in New Orleans, I feel.
I mean, look, food I hear is great.
Food's
So
great.
that's one box checked off.
People are kind.
I love drinking.
A lot of
Street,
drinking.
streets after drinks.
They like having fun. Like that's, buddy, this is you. This
I
is
like
you.
having fun. Hey, you know what? Maybe next Super Bowl, I'm not going to be in New Orleans.
Don't work like that. Where's the next one?
Where's the next Super Bowl? Well, let's look.
I think it's. Any guesses before you see? Ah, this sucks.
I haven't
You saw
seen
it?
I'm gonna say, no, I haven't. San Francisco.
Did you see it? Is that why?
I did not see it.
All right, don't tell me. Don't tell me. My guess is, gosh, I don't. I'll go. I'll go Phoenix. I don't know when the last one was in Phoenix.
Phoenix. Yeah, not the next one. Next one
Dallas?
actually is in San Francisco.
You saw it, you bitch.
I did not see it. I
You-
did not see it.
That's bull.
Anyways,
Does that mean an early
Well-
bet on the Niners?
wow, we're really getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, we are.
We got this Super Bowl to talk about.
I know, but it seems like such a layup at the moment.
It seems like a layup. Well,
I'm saying the
maybe
Niners.
it-
I'm saying the Niners next year. Niners next year at home.
Oh, okay. Well, let's talk about this one. So we have the Chiefs and the Eagles. Obviously, you're partial, so
Yeah.
we can expect some biased reporting. But you know, maybe give us your opening thoughts. What are you feeling most confident about going into the game?
Well, like I texted you this morning when you were, how much is a cash out on my future, which is the softest shit in the world. It is what a pick'em currently on the line. It's a pick'em.
Look,
Is it a
yeah,
pick'em?
it's no minus one.
Okay, so you are wavering your whatever gains that you could potentially make on the fact that it's a 1 point margin at the moment.
No, I'm not wavering
I'll-
on that at all.
Okay. Well, you did. You said how much is my cash out?
Not because it's a 1 point margin, because the Chiefs are going to win.
All right. Anyways, my opening thoughts. Since I started playing the game of football, every coach has told us, and I believe it. I'm a firm believer in this. Teams that win are the teams that can block and tackle better. I texted you this morning, and I believe this. The Philadelphia Eagles, best offensive line, maybe a top 5 offensive line of all time, and they could have the rushing record. Saquon Barkley has been unbelievable, and you can't tell me that every team that they have faced in a legitimate game hasn't been the focus to stop him. Like, yeah, Spagnuolo was going to try to stop him. I don't think it's possible. I think this offensive line gets him downhill. He makes the guy miss. Like, he's going to have a 30-yard touchdown tonight. Or tomorrow night. Like, I'm I'm confident in our ability to win the line of scrimmage on offense. I'm confident in our ability to win the line of scrimmage on defense with Jalen Carter, with um, Brendan Graham. I don't know if he's playing, but they brought him into practice, so he might be playing in this game. And if this is his last one, buddy, he's gonna put it all on the line. I just think what is it like? I just Philly. I think this is the team. I think this is the team that's gonna win it. I really do. Obviously, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Okay, I get it. I am biased, 100%. But I don't. Even if you put this game and I wasn't a fan, I really truly think that just looking, and I guess like everyone probably thinks like you look at the rosters, like Philly does have the better roster. I don't see how they lose this game. Jalen has not played particularly. Like he'd have to play the worst game of his career, I think, for us to lose. Truly.
Oh, I don't think that's true.
I do.
I think he'd have to play an average game.
No. I don't think he needs to put up 300 yards passing and 3 touchdowns for us to win. I think if he just doesn't turn the ball over, I think we win the game.
Well, so what I'll do is I'll give you some counterpoints.
Yeah, I mean,
You can tell me where I'm wrong or where I'm right, but this is where my head's at.
go
Okay.
for it.
Number one, no quarterback that has ever lost his first Super Bowl appearance has ever won one in the remainder of his career. So we go back. Jalen Hurts lost to this Chiefs team.
Different Chiefs
Statistics
team.
say he should not
Chiefs,
be winning this
different
game.
teams. Different teams.
Statistics say he just postponed his Cancun vacation a couple extra weeks for no reason.
Okay, and if you were to look at Jalen Hurts' performance in that game, he played unbelievable in that game. So if he plays anywhere near that, and we have the team we have, dude, we are not going to lose this football game. I am like, if he plays anywhere near that, we are not losing this football game. He was not the reason we lost that Super Bowl. Not at all.
No.
Not at
It
all.
was the backup quarterback who fumbled the ball in the second quarter, right? For the fumble 6, right?
Okay. It's one play. It's one play.
Football comes down to 4 or 5 plays, buddy.
And that
You never know.
I
when they're
don't
gonna
know.
go.
If you go watch that game, he is not the reason we lose that game. And we have a much better
Great
defense.
game.
We have a much
Played
better
great.
defense.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
If you're saying so. If
You
you're
haven't.
saying so.
You have not watched the Eagles enough. If this is what you believe.
I've watched plenty of the Eagles. Actually, all I've been seeing are Eagles propaganda on the timeline, which makes me come to my second point. Are you not worried that everyone is rooting for the Eagles?
No, I don't love it. I don't love that. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't have much. I don't.
There's interviews.
Yeah.
Everything is going Philly. Like,
No, I know. I don't love that.
Have a
But-
peep.
I think it's more of people are just sick of like watching Mahomes win, not the fact that they actually like Philly. But I do not love the fact that everyone is so pro Philly. It is not a great feeling.
Do you think that this Chiefs team is a watered down version of what we've seen in the past? Do you think that they aren't as strong?
I think.
Because
I
say
think.
where-
Go for it. No, go ahead. You tell me.
I'll say where this is stemming from. Because all season we'd heard this is the worst X and 1 team of all time, right? 12-1, 13-1.
Yeah.
That's all that we'd been hearing. When previously the team that was the worst 12-1 team, 11-1 team before was, and I did some research on this. Okay, before that was the 1977 season Oakland Raiders, where they were considered the worst 10-1, 12-1, 11-1, 13-1 team. They went on to win the Super Bowl.
Was that John Madden?
That was John Madden as a head coach going up against the Minnesota Vikings with Bud Grant, and they smoked them 32-14. So maybe all that negativity and hey, the refs are on your side, and you don't think that's fueling the fire a little bit?
No, I think obviously the Chiefs are a good football team. I mean, good teams win football games. They've won the most football games this year. I like our chances, but here's what I'll say about the Chiefs. I believe the quarterback position is one of few positions on a football field that as you get older, you get better because you just become more comfortable. You see coverages faster. Like the game slows down because your mind just works faster and faster and faster. And I know that that happens for pretty much every position at some point. But I think like for receivers, I feel like once you get to a certain age, like your body just doesn't have the same abilities, right? And I think quarterbacks that kind of one of very few positions where that's not the case, where you get better as you get older. Obviously, there's a ceiling.
Sure.
So Mahomes is very much in a early to like maybe mid of his career. Like he is very early on. So he obviously is getting better. Like and so that's going to carry a lot of weight because he's already the best player in football. So like yeah, that like he's I mean, obviously, I mean that's easy to say like he's the only part of that team that really scares me, but that really is the case. I don't
That's a good point. I want to touch on that later, but okay, I'm going to keep going through the storylines, the narratives, okay, and you keep feeding me back what you're thinking. So you brought up earlier the offensive line and the run game. How those guys are going to be dominating. Are you not worried about the injuries? Are you not worried about Cam Jurgens or
he just had a week. He just had 2 weeks to recover.
buddy? I've had a bad back for 19 years. Like it's not a 2 week recovery.
I
It
just
could be.
okay,
I'm
so
just saying, you push on them, it's gonna hurt. I'm just worried that going up against uh, Chris Jones and those Chiefs D linemen who always come up big, like that feels like a very tough matchup. Where I agree, the Eagles have a great offensive line. I think the Chiefs are not. They're maybe like a step below, right? It's not they're not just as good, but they're going to be able to make plays throughout the game. And I think that they're going to focus on the weaknesses of that offensive line, which you're going to go after the hurt guys. So that's sort of what I think on that.
so you see the basically you're gonna say that they're just gonna attack Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson the whole game. Like that's your idea,
I
right?
think that they're going to bring a lot of blitzes. I think
No,
they're
I
going to
agree.
miss.
Definitely. They're gonna have to. They're gonna have because if they don't bring a lot of blitzes, we are going to thrash them. Like once you allow Myalata or you allow Mekhi Becton to get to that second level, dude, it's gonna be a 12-yard game because they are going to steamroll the second those linebackers, those safeties, like, and our receivers are blocking well. Um, so I mean, I think Spagnuolo, does a good job, obviously, of running a defensive game, knowing how to attack teams, knowing how to counter those attacks to keep people on their toes. Like he's a great play caller, obviously. Um, but what I think what helps us a lot here, Pearl, is the fact that you're saying they're going to attack the interior offensive line. I think having the ability to bring in Mekhi Becton or have Myalata pay, like the interior offensive line, I think is a lot easier to protect than someone coming off an edge. So if we had Myalata or Lane Johnson, that was the problem. I think that's much more of a threat and much more of a problem than an interior guy that you could help. Like we could bring down Saquon, you could bring down Kenny G, and just help fill in that interior. So to me, like I think that's a better ability to protect. We have a better ability to protect that than we do if it was an edge guy.
Okay.
And like I know they do a good job of moving Chris Jones around, so like they're going to bring him inside. You're right, but again, like I think we have the ability to someone to step down and be able to help on that if it's a pass pro thing, and then in the run game, like I don't know, I can't see someone stopping this run game. I really can't. It's hard,
Look,
and it's
the
like
same.
they're banged up too. They're banged up too. It's not like they're not 100%. You know what I mean? So it's like it goes both ways.
Who is at this point?
Right? Exactly. It goes both ways.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the path to the Super Bowl. Okay. So some would say, and I might be in that camp, that the Eagles had a relatively easy path to the Super Bowl. Didn't have to face Detroit. They had the home field advantage the whole time, which that's what you fight for in the regular season, so you can't blame them. But and you got to go up against the Commanders and put up a 50 burger in the NFC Championship. So look, I don't think anyone's going to look at your path and say, hey, you guys were really truly tested. Whereas Kansas City, I think that match against Buffalo last week, okay, that's a little bit of a wake up call. You have to get your mind right for that. Um, the Texans, whatever, but again, they also got the first round bye. So, wouldn't you? Is that not something on the top of your mind where you're like, okay, this is really the first test that we've had at these playoffs?
Um, so here's where I say I think when you get like the NFL, I think when you get to the point of this late in the season, NFC Championship, AFC Championship, the division round, I think the best teams are there. I don't think it's a matter of, oh well, this team had they got screwed over here, or this team screwed. Like the best teams are there. Washington in the NFC Championship was the hottest team in football. They were going to come in, they were going to be able to like throw up all these points, and they didn't. Okay, because Philly was the much better team in that scenario. And the fact, like, well, we didn't play the Lions, well, that's not our fault that Washington was the hottest team in football and beat the shit out of them. And that's really what happened. So, like, relatively easy path, I guess. But with that said, the Packers look mediocre, honestly. I thought the Packers looked better the first week we played them than the fucking wild card. But the Rams game, the Rams and Matt Stafford and Sean McVay having a drive in the fourth quarter to win that game, to me, is a very similar feeling and a really good preparation for Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. I'm not saying that's the same exact level. I'm not. But I give a lot of faith to Sean McVay and Matt Stafford on a drive to win the ball game, because they're a really, really good really good play caller, playmaker, and we were able to get that stop. I know it's at home. I know but Jalen Carter can make a game different like that. He can. He's done it all year. Zach Bond can make a game different. We have the Quinyon Mitchell,
Mm-hmm.
Cooper DeJean, Darius Slate. Like, dude, these guys, they want it, man. They want it.
Are you not a little concerned that there's no Kadarius Toney on the Chiefs roster this time? Because he's always good for a couple screw ups every time he trotted out there for him. And,
this team doesn't
safe
screw
to
up.
say- Look, I heard something earlier. DeAndre Hopkins. No one's talking about him.
No, he'll make a play. Listen, I think this team doesn't make mistakes. They're really, really consistent, and so it's not. I don't. Huh?
Kansas City or Philly?
Kansas City. Like they know how to win ball games. Obviously, they've done it all year, and they're really consistent. They do the little things right. They get these calls, which is not really getting these calls. Well, like, guess what? If you don't commit all these penalties, you're not going to get a penalty called. Like, just do things the right fucking way. You're going to win games. Like, that's I really believe their process right now. Okay, and so I mean, I don't know. I think like this team, like they're not going to make a whole lot of mistakes. I think we just gotta keep the game in control the line of scrimmage. Make them punt a few more times than they're used to. Like, that's kind of, I see how the game's gonna, and then we just got to run the football well. And I don't see how we don't. Especially if Jalen's healthy, because he looked healthy against Washington. Why is he not going to be healthy after a week off? Like,
well,
dude.
I heard that everyone's sick in the Eagles locker room. Everyone's got the stomach bug.
All right, and they're pumping them with IVs. Like, this is the NFL, motherfuckers. Richest league in the world. Like, what are we talking about? I heard they're sick, but I had it. We'll be okay.
You had it? Did you give it?
I had it.
Patient zero?
I don't think so. I hope not.
It'd be funny if Tristan was patient zero. He goes up and he daps up.
That wouldn't be
Jalen
funny.
Hurts, and
That
be
would.
like, "What's up, Jalen?"
That wouldn't be funny. Excuse me.
Big Giants fan Tristan. Oh my God, I'm gonna get all these guys. I'm gonna go and piss in the Gatorade or something.
All because of Saquon.
That's oh my God. John Mara can't be watching this Super Bowl. Can't be doing it. Okay, what I want to do is I want to go through and just see, and I feel like you're gonna have a pretty heavy lean here, but I'll be the arbitrator because I do think that.
I feel like all my answers have been very heavily leaned.
But I want to tick off who has the advantage at which side, right? So, who has the advantage in the head coaching category, Philly or Kansas City?
I think Kansas City, right? I mean, Andy Reid's been there so much.
I agree.
So Paul,
And
but I don't. I don't know. I think Sirianni's hungry, man. He's hungry.
he
But you're
is.
right. I think Andy Reid's got the head. Hold on one second. One second.
Yeah, get your dog under control.
Stop.
This is a pro dog podcast, so I that's actually Kirby, special guest Kirby. He was actually telling me that he's on Kansas City, so
Go lay down, Kirby. Louise, sorry. The dog had a seizure, freaking out because the mail guy was here, going ballistic, like throwing himself against the window.
sounds like a protector. Sounds like he's trying to do his job.
I don't think. Well, maybe. All right.
Look, I think Andy Reid, he has the edge here. I also think Andy Reid has like 15 plays that he's never called before that he's going to call this game, and it's going to just be like, you come out in this formation, this is what we're going to do, right? And
That's a lot of plays.
Look,
Think about that. That's a lot of plays. 15 plays.
Here's what I think about that. I think he's got maybe 50 saved just for Philly matchups. so I think he used.
Yo, he might. He might.
He used 15 in the first Super Bowl, and then I think he's going to keep reaching in the bag because it's
That's
really
funny.
I really don't see how he doesn't come out with something a little tricky here. And look, I think this isn't the head coaching part, but you talked about a heater. I think the DC for the Chiefs is on quite a bit of a heater also. Like he's
Spagnuolo? Yeah,
Spagnuolo.
for sure.
I'm a big fan of him.
Yeah.
Fan.
Why? But like, why do you think that all these all these new plays are gonna just be able to run free and get massive plays off of them? Like, we play a lot of like this matchup zone and a lot of zone defense. Like, why don't we're just gonna be sitting in zone? I feel like it's like.
No, I think it's the point is it could be anything. It could be a Travis Kelce lateral pitch halfway across the field again. Like it could be anything out of his playbook, and
I don't think that was drawn up. Do you?
I think they saw it kind of work, and they said, "Get on the whiteboard, buddies."
Yeah, I'm sure they practiced it, but I don't know if that was drawn.
No, I think, and I keep forgetting his name. The DC for the Chiefs.
Spagnuolo.
Spags. I saw the way that they treated the Bills 2 weeks ago, and especially on that last drive with that pressure up the middle that the blitzing DB didn't get there, but it caused the offensive line to shift to where the guy could loop over, right?
Yeah, it was a great call.
And it was a great call, and he's just been so consistently doing that at the right time. So I feel pretty strongly about that. I think the coaching staff on Kansas City's side has definitely an advantage. So let's go down.
With that said,
Go ahead.
where I think we differ from the Bills is you knew the Bills, if they were going to win that game, it was going to be because Josh Allen made throw after throw after throw. That I don't think is the case. Like, I see this game as Spagnuolo needs to be able to stop Saquon Barkley for that to be for them to win, basically, is how I see this game. And I just don't think that is possible. I really don't.
I read Saquon's over-under on rushing attempts is 21.5. You think that's enough? You're going to pump the over?
I mean, I think they run the ball. I probably won't bet that, but I think they run more than that for sure. Because the only way they don't is if they get down by 2 scores. And I just don't understand a game unless they turn the ball over or they just, I don't know. If they just come out and say, oh, we're just going to throw the ball and just not run it, then that's how this can potentially go really bad. But other than that, I just don't think they will do that.
I'm trying to think about the guy on the Eagles who's going to make that boneheaded mistake. And the person who keeps flashing in my mind is A.J. Brown. And not because I think he's a bad player or because of that. I just, the picture of him fumbling the ball, trying to gain a couple extra yards, going to the sideline and opening up his self-help book is really going to do numbers online, I think. Which I hope I hope for his case it doesn't happen, but I think I would kind of enjoy that reaction.
Well, I think I think they match up what McDuffie, right? That's who the corner is. Yeah,
McDuffie
I
is
think they
on
match up him with hit.
Sneed,
Yeah,
Jerry Sneed.
I think we have I think we just outnumber them in one too many threats because I think they match up Trent McDuffie with AJ Brown, then we have Devontae. If they match up Sneed with Devontae, then we have Goddard. Like I just think we're just gonna outnumber them with that one guy, with that one matchup. I don't know. I like our chances. I really do. I like our chances.
So let's keep going down the list. Quarterback. I think Kansas City pretty clearly has the advantage
Yeah.
here. I
Yeah.
don't think
Yeah. No, I
we need
agree.
to spend much time on that. Um,
That would be crazy if they didn't.
Running back,
The Eagles.
Philly. Yeah, I think that's safe. Although Kareem Hunt, maybe maybe a little touchdown prop here or there. I wouldn't be mad at that.
I heard.
I think when I look at this game, it's going to go in one of two directions. It's not going to finish 24-21. It's either going to be like it was last time, 35-38. Was it right? That was the score, 35-32.
Something like that, yeah. It was high.
Or it's going to be like that not the Eagles, that Patriots Rams Super Bowl that sucked.
No, I don't see that game happening. I don't.
But I think both defenses are good enough, and both offenses can sort of. I could see that. Maybe the Eagles used up all their points 2 weeks ago.
Both defenses are good enough, but both defenses have also given up a good amount of points throughout the playoffs. Regardless.
I think it gets heightened in the Super Bowl. I really think. Yeah. Now,
Listen, if it's a. Man, I don't know, actually. I don't know if I like a grit game with, like, those odds, but also don't hate a grit game. Like, if it's about, like, just running the football, like, I feel like we're in a good spot.
look, I think at this point you don't really care how you win. You just
No,
want to
not
win.
at all. Not at all. Just want to win.
Not
Just
going
want to
for-
win.
Not going for style points there. Okay, wide receiver room.
Us. Philly, I think, for sure wins that battle.
Xavier Worthy, DeAndre Hopkins.
AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, like,
Is Juju Smith-Schuster still on the
yeah,
Chiefs?
yeah. But
Oh yeah,
nah.
he was in that hype video that I sent you earlier.
Yeah.
I thought that was.
That was
I mean, look,
cool
I'm
song.
gonna take the
Cool
Chiefs,
song.
but that is Hut 1, Hut 2, Kansas City. Fuck you.
Yeah, man, that song was hype. I liked it.
I loved it.
I thought it was just like an actual song, and then it just kept going. I was like, no, this is like custom. This is for this shit. I was like, this is awesome.
Oh my god, so good. Roan at Barstool did that. Really, really good.
Oh, okay, nice. Well job.
Okay,
Well done, Roan.
I think wide receiver. Yeah, I think Philly has the edge here. Devontae Smith. I mean, he's just so good as a number 2, and he'd probably be a number 1 on 28 teams. Like
He really is like sneaky good. Like he makes the plays he needs to make. He really doesn't screw up that much. Like,
you know that one-handed catch he had this year where he toe tapped in the
yes,
back of the end zone?
yes, unbelievable.
No one talks about it because that was the game that Saquon had the backwards hurdle. It's like even when he's making plays like that, someone's doing something we've never seen.
I think it was also the same week that someone else even had the crazier catch in the back of the end zone.
Oh my god! Yeah, you could to have a great catch.
Whether it was Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, like it was someone. Man, I don't remember. Someone else had it like the same week, and it was even crazier. And so, but yeah.
All right, let's look at tight ends. You got Goddard versus Kelsey here.
Go ahead.
I'll say this: I think that the room for Kansas City is a little bit better. I think Goddard has a chance to make plays, but I mean, look, it's Kelsey in the playoffs. I really think this is why you don't care about the first 17 games, right? You're playing for this game.
Yeah, I think this is what I'll say. I think defensively they are not great against the tight ends. So that's, I think, a matchup that we potentially have a better matchup because they don't match up great against tight ends as opposed to us. But I mean, I think if you're talking purely on the player, like, I mean, yeah, like Kelsey obviously in the playoffs is special, but yeah. So I guess you give him the edge, but I'm not like really, really confident in saying that he's that much better than Goddard at this point. Goddard has made a lot of great plays for us this year. A lot of big plays in the playoffs, and he's kind of like a vertical threat more than he looks. So,
Sure, sure. When we look at their offensive lines, yeah, I think Philly has the advantage here. But look, Kansas City, they played tough. They're not slouches either. You don't really see Mahomes getting too much pressure.
yeah, I
Um,
mean, dude, Philly is just. I mean, that is truly like all-time great line right there. That line
that's
is
how you build it.
unbelievable.
That's how you build a team, man. That's how you do it.
So that's what I'm saying. How don't you see them winning this game? Like, I don't understand it.
Whoa, we still got plenty more position groups to go through here. Okay.
Are we going through
Uh,
all 22
let's keep
positions?
it. Let's go with
24?
defensive line. Defensive line.
Philly. I still think Philly wins that. I think Jalen Carter is the most dominant interior defensive lineman in football right now. I think he's the most dominant interior defensive lineman since Aaron Donald. So Andy plays 98% of snaps. Like, I think we win that matchup.
How about I heard this stat for the Chiefs. George Karlaftis, their defensive end, and
Hmm.
every other player drafted in that 2022 class has never lost a playoff game. So
Well,
I think
ti- you know,
George Karlaftis has more playoff sacks than Lawrence Taylor.
that's an interesting stat. That is an interesting
I
stat.
mean, that's when they get there, they produce. When they get there, they produce. But yeah, I agree. Linebackers.
I think we win that matchup. Zach Baum was an all-pro caliber player this year.
Sucks you're not going to get him next year. Sucks
You
he's
don't
out
think
of your.
so?
I mean, he's out of your price range at this point.
I know, but I think like I don't see him. I could see him like taking less money to stay there, especially if they win.
That's a guy who is a late round draft pick who has been scraping by the league, and he's finally making his break to make some bucks. I think he's going to take it.
I mean, I don't think.
Play,
I
he's
don't
going to
know.
go play for like some bootleg team.
I don't. I don't know. I don't. I think if you have, especially if they win, I can't see him being like, oh, I'm gonna go play in, shitty like New England and get paid whatever because and not compete for the next 5 years. I can't. Why would you do that?
Wow, that's a bold take on New England.
All right, well, like that's not really how I felt about personally New England. Like I think they get better,
Right.
but they do play in a shit division to try to get better over the next 5 years.
I
Like,
mean,
like that is not a division where you're gonna like. There's a lot of things stopping you from improving.
that's fair. That's
uh,
fair.
yeah,
Who you got? N'Kobe Dean back there who's playing.
yep.
The
Zach
other
Vaughn, obviously.
the other
Um,
Georgia guy, Nolan Smith.
Nolan Smith.
Yeah,
Well, no,
makes sense.
Kobe Dean's out, right? Kobe Dean's hurt. He's done.
Oh, then I lean Kansas City.
Or in Burks. Burks had a great game in the
Yeah,
um, playoffs championship game.
conference.
Yeah.
All right, DBs. I agree. I think the linebackers, and I think I think the DBs on Philly's side
Yeah.
are they're just young, man. They're young. That's
But
the only
but they're
thing.
like confident. They're not afraid of the moment. The bigger the moment, the better they've played.
You have to play confident as a defensive back. That's your whole game because you're gonna get toasted.
But
And,
I
like
mean,
it's part of the game.
you,
I think that where the Chiefs have the advantage is okay. These are guys who have done everything before. You got L'Jarius Sneed and
McDuffie.
you got McDuffie, and these are just guys who, yeah, they play up to the moment. They're disciplined, and they sort of know this is the time to take the gamble. This is the time not to, and maybe this is the Super Bowl. The adrenaline's rushed up. Maybe you see Cooper DeJean take a bad angle, or you see Quinyon Mitchell jump a out route when it's a out and up. Like it's really again, these are things that experience plays into it, and these guys just don't have it. And so maybe Mahomes takes advantage of that on the fly, honestly.
But they've played almost what 20 games at this point. Philly's played 20 games at this point.
Yeah.
They have experience, man. They played 20 NFL games. I mean, like, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. So you actually think Kansas City has a better matchup there?
I think that they have a I think Kansas City's matchup. The only reason why I think Philly's defensive backs are going to have a good game is because I think the level of wide receiver play is worse for the
Agreed.
Chiefs. But I actually think the talent level, I think the Chiefs have a little bit more of an edge.
Because, ooh, really, like just straight up.
I think straight up.
Interesting. I don't know. I think the interesting part is like the Chiefs is like they're dominating receivers. Kelsey, Hopkins, Xavier Worthy's kind of different, but I'm more saying those first two guys like they're not really that threatening vertically because they're not the speed guys. Worthy obviously is different animal. That guy's a fucking cheetah. But so for that reason, like I don't really hate our matchup, but I do hear what you're saying. I understand that, so I'm not.
Yeah. I kind of want to call that a push. And we
Yeah.
didn't even bring up the safeties, but I mean, Blankenship's had a good year.
CGJ's had a great year. They both played well.
Yeah. I think. Look, I think that's where your experience comes into play, right? Those two guys back there.
And they both were they both played in it. CGJ played in it last time. I don't know if Reed played in it last time, but he was on the team. I'm pretty sure. Because he wasn't a starter, I don't think, 2 years ago.
All right. That leaves us with the special teams.
I think Kansas City may. I mean, we've had good special teams. I think Kansas City might have better because of the kickers, right? Like Jake Elliott has not had a great year, especially in the playoffs.
Here's the stat for Jake Elliott.
I don't want to hear a Jake Elliott stat, dude. I don't want to hear it.
He is number 1 in field goals made percentage in playoff history. He is dead last in extra points made, extra point attempts made percentage in playoff history.
That is a really, really, really interesting stat. Like a very interesting stat.
You just gotta go for 2. You can't risk it.
Yeah, no, I still give him the edge, regardless.
No, I mean, look, I think that's sort of a wash because, although I like the punter for the Chiefs, I think if it does come down to field possession, and yeah, if it does come down to field possession, and okay, we're gonna try and pin these guys deep, that could be a factor. But look, I think when you look at the totality of it, you have the head coach, quarterback, you got some wily vets on the Chiefs team. I don't know, man. I still lean that way.
I know you do. It's soft. Yeah, I honestly think a little bit of it is like you have PTSD of the wild card game last year when you guys all froze, and so you're just like, you're like the Chiefs.
Only because you brought up the Dolphins. I will say neither of these two teams are really that good because none of them are going to go undefeated this year. So.
Okay.
That was actually one of my notes. Neither team is coming into this game undefeated, unlike the 72 Dolphins. ... Like, I'm not going to mention that in my last email of the season.
Yeah. How about those 2025 Dolphins? 2024 Dolphins.
Hey. We're talking about you guys. Quit deflecting. I'm just going through everything again, making sure we touched on all these notes. Do you have any prop bets that you like?
I like probably both quarterback rush yards.
Ooh.
I think Jalen's 39.5. Patrick Mahomes 29.5.
All right.
Also Saquon at 112.5. Like, I'm so confident that Saquon Barkley has a good game. Like, I can't see how he doesn't.
It's no, it wasn't the Chiefs who played. The Ravens and the Bills played. Yeah, disregard that fact. Here's something for you. Okay, this is for a tweet from Elliot Shore Parks, and
thanks, Elliot.
Yeah, Mahomes and Hurts are basically the same.
I wish.
After 5 seasons, 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 ring, record 58-16, 159 touchdowns.
Wait, that's not true though.
That's after 5 seasons.
Oh, his first five.
Hurts after 5 seasons, 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 ring if he wins, 51-23 record, 157 touchdowns. So you guys basically, if you win, you basically got Mahomes on the roster.
Yeah, I just no. I wish, but no.
Well, Elliott sure seems to think so.
Well, I appreciate Elliot coming up with whatever numbers he can to make himself feel better about our situation.
I read
But
that.
maybe you
I
need to
read
watch
that.
a fucking football game and then tell me what those stats say.
I read that on the timeline the other day, and I was like, "Really? This is what we're doing? This is why. This is how you know the 2 week gap in between these games is way too long. Because there's no way this
No.
person comes up with that with a 1 week gap. Okay?
Yes,
He's
they
really in
would.
his mind. He's in his mind thinking and thinking. Dude, I mean, come on. What are we doing in that make it week in the middle? Playing flag football? I mean, these guys
Yeah.
didn't even invite the Vietnamese national team out there for some real comp. It's just a bunch of guys running around in their gym shorts. Like nobody's a. I didn't get a call saying, "Hey, we need the Vietnamese national team to come play these guys." Um, it's anyways, that's how I feel about
I digress.
that. I digress. Um, but look, I think we're gonna have a great game on our hands, and I think Kansas City's gonna win. And for our friendship's sake, the last time that this happened, um, the Eagles did not win, and you actually didn't talk to us for a couple days, and I was a little worried for your health and safety. So I just
Well,
maybe
I'll be honest. If it goes that way, it might be the same thing. Okay. And maybe this time you should be worried because 2 times in 3 years.
hey,
Pause for.
look,
Listen, I. This is the funniest thing, so I'll tell this. I when I was like going through the dental school, trying to figure out where I was going to go to dental school, I came to Buffalo, and I was talking to like one of the people in the administration or like I don't know selection committee, whatever the fucking thing is.
some nerd.
And yeah, sure, yeah, not really, but sure. Um, and so like we were talking about whatever, and sports came up, and I was like, oh, I love football. I'm like, it's like kind of a cool feeling, like potentially going to Buffalo. This is before I decided to go to Buffalo. Cool feeling going to Buffalo because there's a good chance that like if you guys are going to win a Super Bowl, it's going to be in the next 4 years, right? I'm a
Right.
fucking Eagles fan, and so I go to Buffalo, and they don't even get near a Super Bowl in the next, well, maybe next year, but these last three they haven't, and
Right.
Philly's been in two of them, and I'm like, I'm running away from it. I'm running away from it, but
Well, we were all in college together when
they
Nick
won.
Foles
Big
and
Dick Nick, Big Dick Nick.
hey, now here's a real twist of fate that would really this might send you over the edge. Mahomes gets hurt, Wentz comes in, leads the Chiefs to a Super Bowl victory.
Buddy, if at some point in this football game, Patrick Mahomes goes down and Carson Wentz plays the rest of the game, I will be so blacked out, assuming we won the fucking game because there is no chance that this guy wins. He got
Wow.
smoked by 30 against the Broncos.
Look, put that on a quote card. Put that on a quote card. And
Um,
obviously we're not rooting for injuries. But
no,
hopefully that's
no.
end the injuries off on
I
this
actually, I
game.
just want to beat Mahomes straight up. And let me say this: who put an end to the New England dynasty? Super Bowl 52. Who put an end?
Look,
Big Dick
hey,
Nick. Who put an end to Kansas City dynasty? Oh, the Eagles are back, baby. The Eagles are back.
that is, man. I Jordan, for your own mental sanity,
Come here.
man. Well, oh, there we go.
Go
Well,
Birds. Go Birds.
Kirby actually told me it was on the Chiefs side.
No, he didn't.
He did
He's
when he
flying.
when
Fly, Eagles, fly. On the road to victory.
all right. Well, that is our Super Bowl preview. You know,
Fly, Eagles,
thanks for
fly.
being
Score a
on.
touchdown, 1, 2, 3. Thanks,
Who
Tristan.
knows? Maybe we do a post Super Bowl recap. Depends. Jordan might be blacked out. Tristan might be dead. Who knows?
Yeah.
All I know is I'll be here, alive, and oh, Kirby, relax. He's like doubt it.
Uh, I don't know if you could make a Tristan a live joke in New Orleans right now. Not a great.
Why? Ugh. I mean, oh, Even Kirby agrees.
Get under
Um,
there.
no, but look, we'll link back in. We'll see how the game goes. Hopefully, it's a great game, and yeah, enjoy the show, guys.
Go Birds.